Welcome back, everybody.
Yay!
Turtle.
So how has everybody been?
Fine. I cannot wait for school to start. And then work can stop being frustrating.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry you have to deal with entitled parents.
And entitled children.
Yes.
Discipline your children, rich people.
Okay, so where we last left off, you guys had beamed down to the Faralarr homeworld, and were discussing things with the minister. Went out and looked at several of the goods in the marketplace. Were summoned back to the ministry building.
No. We went back to find out what was taking so long. Then we beamed back up to the ship.
No, you didn't.
Yes, we did.
No, once you went down to Faralarr, you have not left.
Yeah,
I
no,
said
because you're in the meeting thing with the one person. Because we had that meeting thing because you went to see what was taking so long. And I think last we left off, you were in the middle of a meeting with the head guy.
What specifically happened is, yes, we did beam back up, and then we were requested to return for discussion, and then we were arrested.
How do I not remember the beam up?
I don't
Because
know,
Frank was,
that's what happened. We beamed up, and then they requested us back, and that's when we were arrested.
I don't remember the arrested part.
Oh no, it happened. That I know for
That
sure
part.
happened.
Yeah, the dude walked in with the book and accused me of heresy, and then arrested me. Of course, when he walked in with the book, the first thing Che said is, "What did Moral do now?"
And Moral was meeting with the first minister, and she got arrested too. I think everybody else was waiting outside.
No, I know I stayed behind outside because I wasn't allowed to enter just in case of an emergency. Because my character doesn't fully trust these people.
It's fine. It's fine.
Okay, so for those of you sitting on the outside of the ministry building, I'll say, how long are you guys gonna wait?
Well, I'm assuming that I don't know the captain's arrested.
No, you don't.
I'm well, like I said, I don't fully. I even stated it last episode. I don't fully trust these people, so I've been waiting for Che and the captain to come out because again, I wasn't. I'm just waiting outside. I am security.
Good job on that front.
How about you? Shut up, Josh. Um, Nar, how long are you gonna wait outside before?
Did I even beam back down?
I think they wanted to speak with the away team.
Okay.
That
Wait.
is what was requested. The away team.
They asked for the away team and then told the rest of us to wait.
Yeah, because they requested Che was allowed inside, and as well as the captain, and that's why I waited outside.
Well, then, yeah, like, if we were all requested, then we'd just be waiting outside.
Okay, so I will say after about an hour, uh, a few of the ministry guards come out and says that the ministers would like to speak with you both.
This is suspicious as fuck.
Well, I look at Nar and I say, I'll take lead.
Can you hear the face I'm making right now?
Can you hear the
Yes,
face
but
I'm
again-
making?
You might need to describe this face.
It's somewhere between disbelief and we're fucking doomed.
Oh, this section of the party is great. We have the untrusting security officer and the paranoid as fuck doctor.
I mean, to be fair, they separated us, brought them in, and it's like, and then they haven't come back out or contacted us. And like, now we need to speak to you. It's suspicious as fuck.
It is, but we can also think of it as they could be having this is first contact. There's an hour's conversation. Might not be much in this situation.
I'm a Cardassian.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's first contact. They can be talking about a bunch of stuff. It could take them an hour to explain their own culture. And Che,
Darby.
yes,
She's a Kardashian. Get it through your head. She'll shoot first, pull T second, ask questions third.
yeah.
No, what I mean is that I am suspicious as fuck, and this is suspicious as fuck already.
Okay.
Okay, so you are led into the main. Who the fuck is calling me now?
Nar, I'm still waiting for you to make that bank shot around the corner, ricochet.
Tell me when Jimmy's off the phone. But yes, the Cardassian being suspicious is incredibly apt. I'd be suspicious too. If I wasn't playing the Catmen in a series of Catmen that want to believe that these people are good.
Okay, so like I said, you were both led into the chamber.
Did I accidentally mute everyone?
No.
And
Good.
there are standing
I just don't know if Jimmy wanted his personal business all over the YouTubes.
Oh, I wasn't hitting my push to talk button, so it wasn't recorded. That is the good thing about OBS. So in the chamber, there are 4 ministers. They all.
Nar, join me in the Cation Inquisition.
One of them steps up. It's the minister that you all first dealt with, and he says, "Welcome back to Faralarr."
Thank you.
What do you wear?
Thank you. He's welcoming us back. I'm gonna just take a glance around the room. I'm assuming I don't see the cap. I'm taking a glance around the room. We're in the main chamber.
Yes.
Okay. And we're being ushered in, and our captain, I'm assuming, is not present.
No, the captain is not there.
I look for Che, but they all look the same.
Oh,
Wow.
racist!
I look clearly different from all these people. Most I have facial markings, and they probably don't.
Just out of character on a side note, Darby, out of the, I don't know, literally hundreds of cat species on planet Earth, do they all look the same to you?
I was making a joke. That's all.
I think we're going to upgrade him from trash can to dumpster,
Oh, shit.
or maybe into the trash can compactor.
Into
Alright.
a flaming toilet.
So he informs you that that Commander Moral and Lieutenant Che are currently being shown some of the artifacts from Faralar's first arrival. So that's why they're not there.
Okay.
I'm sure that's quite fascinating.
They want one of the ministers behind the one that you talked with comes up and he wants to know, how much knowledge do you have of Lieutenant Che's homeworld?
What an odd question.
I may not be able. I cannot tell you much about his homeworld. Che would be able to. Lieutenant Che would be able to answer a lot better than I can.
Wouldn't you be more interested in the Federation as a whole?
Well, it's just that we were made to understand that we were the only cat species, or felinoid species in existence.
I suppose. My knowledge, to be honest, of their culture is passing. But I do know a little about the biology of both the Cation and the Farazan because of my background in Xeno.
And you, Lieutenant?
My knowledge, I don't really. I've never really visited the Cation homeworld on a out of character. I'm tripping over my own words here. I have I do not have extensive knowledge on their homeworld. I haven't spent much time there.
I see. Then I must regret to inform you both that you are under arrest for heresy.
Tap my comm badge.
I was about to say the same thing. Security to bridge. We are
currently being arrested under charges of heresy. Please inform the Federation as to what's going on, and also contact the Cardassian people on my behalf.
You know what, Nar, let me go ahead and have you roll me a reason and con roll. Okay, so you while the Cardassians may be able to help, Starfleet is so far away, it would take them almost a month to get a ship here.
I'm just attempting to follow protocol for the ship I'm on. They would need to contact Star.
You get Honor and he goes, report, Doctor.
What was that?
He just wait. You tapped up to the ship, and what did you tell them?
I said we are currently being arrested under charges of heresy. Please contact the Federation, whatever, and also the Cardassian people on my behalf, and apprise them of the situation.
Onivern replies with, "Is the entire away team under arrest, or is it just you?"
It's the entire way.
Stand by. It takes about a minute, and then he comes back and he just says, the whole material, or the building material that they used, is resistant to sensors. So he was gonna try and beam you out.
After hearing that, I step in between Nar and the rest of the
ministers.
Step in front of the Nar and the ministers, kind of shielding myself, putting myself in between the Doctor and them.
Okay. So you move in front of Nar. Nar, you have a meat shield.
Hooray!
Behind you, the chamber doors open again, and in come several guards. Onivern tells you, Nar, to I'm trying to think of a Starfleet way of saying, just do what they say, and we'll work on this.
Before any action is taken further, may I ask what charges of heresy we're being arrested for?
You are both violating the doctrine.
And I apologize for our lack of knowledge on your culture, but how are we violating it?
At this point, one of the ministers says, "Take them away." So the guards come up to you, and they're going to take your phaser, tricorder, and comm badge.
How many are them in compared to me?
Stand down, security officer.
2 versus 8.
Okay. Shit. You know what? I drop into a combat stance, but the psychiatrist flashes in my brain about the suicidal thing, and I drop out of the combat stance. Basically, I look like I'm about to defend myself, but then I reconsider.
When you make that move, they draw their weapons on you.
But like I said, then I reconsider and hand over my tricorder and phaser.
Okay. And then they take your comm badge. All right, so you two are escorted out of the chamber. We're going to switch over to
Excuse
Che.
me, Minister, one last question. Are you going to arrest the entire rest of the galaxy?
None of the rest of the galaxy hasn't come here.
No, not yet. But they will. You can't remain isolated forever. Ta!
Just had to
give
get
I give Nara a hug. Good.
just had to get that last sting in, huh?
Yup.
Okay, so you two, Che and Maral, were taken down into their prison area, which looks like it was fashioned out of remnants of the ship. And they lead you to a cell with 2 other people in it.
Morale and Che?
Hoping.
No, this is Maral and Che that's being escorted right now.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
Do we recognize the other people?
They appear to be Faralarr.
Duh.
It's the engineers from before, isn't it?
You recognize one.
Which one?
The pilot, the one that contacted you through radio.
What about the other person?
You don't recognize her.
Her, eh?
Wait.
Sorry,
Oh.
I had to.
I could see that. Finally, after a season and a half, I can get some tail.
Literally.
Finally, a woman with her requisite number of limbs.
Hey, if she's blue, you can get some blue strange.
All right, so he's in the cell.
Yes.
Well,
You are thrown into the cell, and the cell is closed.
Figuratively thrown in or literally thrown in?
You're kind of pushed in. By the way, you do not have phaser strike orders or comm badges either.
After we're pushed in, I turn around to the guard and go, gee, aren't we rude?
He doesn't say anything before the door closes.
Slap him. Challenge him to a duel.
You're not doing it.
Maybe I
So-
should slap you and demote you.
So what are you two doing?
I'm going to approach our fellow incarcerated compatriot.
Yeah, I'll walk up to him and ask him why he's here.
Heresy.
That word is getting bandied about a lot. However, not many people are explaining what exact manner of heterodoxy we've committed.
He points to you and he says, "Your very existence goes against everything we were taught."
Why are you here and not your co-pilot
He tried to
as
escape.
well?
They killed him.
Well, that is some extreme measures for some information sensor.
So, upon finding this out, your ministers, rather than just turning us away, which would have probably sufficed, and closing the book on all of this and banning all space travel, they let us beam down, further proving your point that you are not the only feline species, because here's evidential proof. And then they arrest all of us for heresy. They could have just barred us from coming down to the planet, told us to leave, and you could have sit there and said all you wanted, and they could have denied it, and nothing would come of it. And your people would still be as they are, none the wiser, and your co-pilot would be alive. Your ministers don't seem very enlightened or wish to not acknowledge the possibility. But you're willing to. Why?
The hold that the ministry has over all of the Faralarr enclaves is tenuous. Doctrine is the only thing that keeps them in power, because they are essentially using the examples of the first and second Exodus to instill that our ancestors are gone, our home world is gone.
So essentially, there are more willing to make the leap of faith.
He says he knows a couple, but they don't talk about it publicly. Heresy.
Well, obviously, if this is the result of heresy. So,
But basically, they're using doctrine to keep people in line. But if people were to see see proof of the fact that there is another explanation, that there would be some that would probably make a leap of faith, and some that would probably still hold true to doctrine. Your civilization would be split.
Um, he just says, I don't understand the ministry's machinations. I don't understand what their agenda was, even if we gain warp technology, because at some point we would discover that the homeworld is still very much intact. It is, isn't it? And he looks at you, Che.
I can say that it is intact. Changed, evolved, but intact. I'm curious. You mentioned the first and second exoduses. What are those?
The first exodus was when civilization came to an end on our homeworld, and the Great Fleet left.
Actually, sorry, Jimmy, my headset just came unplugged, so I missed most of that.
Oh, he basically says that civilization ended on Kate, and so those that had the power or the influence got themselves on starships and left.
So that's the first exodus.
Essentially, he's just recounting the Farazan departure from Kate.
I understand here, I believe. Some words of your history have gotten changed.
Then the second exodus was at a point where tensions were rising because most of the people on the Faralarr were of a spiritual nature. They expelled half of the Faralarr. And then went on their way. It was a violent fight.
So Che considers for a moment, staying silent for just a second. Does that mean that potentially you're the original colonists of the Faralarr when it was taken by the Farazan?
He doesn't know.
I would need to read your holy book. But it does seem like this is simply a matter of your history has simply lost a few words, or the language has changed over time, becoming myth and the basis of a religion, correct?
Correct.
Because our history states that simply, as I said before, there were two castes. As the result, there used to be more, but as the casts interbred, we slowly devolved into simply two. One born of 4 and one born of 8. He reaches up and he touches kind of like the markings on his face. As an example, I actually bear markings of one of the 4, the Hunter caste. When we got rid of the caste system, and it just became a formality, just a name. K. Shinfirin, or as it became later, Farazin. We held a difference of opinion, the two castes. From the Farazins' perspective, when they were forced to leave due to the war between our people, it could seem like Keish was lost. Lost to an ideology that they did not want to embrace. The planet made utterly useless to them. By people they saw as inferior.
At this point, you hear the woman speak up and says that the Farazan are just a fairy tale to scare children.
Oh, they are quite real.
I beg to differ, young lady. The Farazan are real. Quite real.
Okay, at this point, Nar and Dumpster Fire are thrown into the cell with you guys.
You mean Hartley?
Dumpster Fire?
Okay, so Lieutenant Commander Nar and Ensign Hartley. I mean Dumpster Fire.
Shay gives a sour grin. So, let me guess. In for Heresy?
Yep.
Apparently, I am in fact a heretic.
And apparently this is all my fault because you simply know me.
And I only came for tea.
I apologize.
It's fine. The the Federation should be apprised of what's going on, as well as the Cardassian people.
The doctor managed to send a message to our starship.
Nobody
I
tried to
can't
stop
remember.
me.
And we got a message off before we were arrested. Unfortunately, sir, for whatever this building is made out of, it makes it difficult for transporters.
Really, Lieutenant, I hadn't really considered that, considering that I'm still sitting here in this cell.
Oh, somebody's already easily agitated in a jail cell.
Shay turns to the female in the cell. Was she part of the crew of the ship as well?
No.
So, curious look on his brow. And why are you here?
I would be one of the unhappy few that... What's his face? I can't remember. Oh, hang on. I have the document open. I can just look it up. Kosin. So she says I happen to be one of the few unhappy people that Kosin has talked about.
So you believe the fact that you are not the only feline species?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, the evidence is here now, but before this, I just didn't like the ministry.
Understandable.
I'm taking a look at our cell. What does it look like?
It's
A cell.
metal all around. There are 8 bunks. Or 8 bunk beds.
How about the door?
It looks to be a heavy cargo bay door.
Oh,
Shay pipes in. This whole entire structure was built upon a colony ship. Everything was retrofitted. The walls are... I'm sorry, Jimmy, I forgot from last week what it was called. Duranium something.
I think it's just duranium alloy.
It's all from a duranium alloy that comes from Keish. Some of our spaceships are still made from it today.
I'm assuming that's just a basic cargo bay door that would be on the ship. Is there a way to open it from this side?
No.
Shay turns back to the two native Faralarr. So what happens next? What's the standard procedure when it comes to heretics? Trial, execution. He shrugs.
I would imagine you will be executed. Your comrades will probably just sit in here forever.
You don't even have a trial of your peers, or trial before the religious council, as it would be.
The ministry does hold trials.
I imagine they're not trials so much as a show for the public.
Everyone is guilty until proven innocent.
I've been locked up in worse places.
There has to be a way out of here. And I don't plan on letting anybody die just yet.
The female Faralarr looks at you and she just goes, "That's quite a bit of optimism you have there."
Shay pipes in. Each one should not doubt our captain. It's not optimism.
Well, I am not familiar with your species.
Do you remember when we were speaking of Frozen, the fairy tale to scare children?
Yes.
Our captain is one half of a race that holds the Farazan as tributaries to their empire.
She looks at you. Really?
Yes.
Really.
And then she looks to you, Nar, and she goes, You're not wearing the same clothing that they are. What's your story?"
I'm a Cardassian We're not official members of the Federation as of now. We are currently in the process of attempting to build trust after a fairly long history of war. I'm an exchange.
Uh, she she introduces herself as Pomet.
Charmed, I'm sure.
Che gives his name.
I'm Dr. Sostanar.
At that, she looks at you. You're a doctor.
I'm a doctor.
So am I.
Excellent.
And a friendship was made.
Well, it looks as if, unless some of you have, unless your species have immense strength, we're not lifting that door.
We may not need immense strength. It's possible. How many come in to feed you?
They don't come in. They've fashioned a hole in the door.
But you said eventually they're going to come and true, but they're going to have to open the door at some point. You said that there was a potential execution of our famous Che here.
Oh, he'll be executed.
Lieutenant, if that happens, they're going to be coming with weapons, and we are unarmed. Consider your plan and think about it. We'd all be dead before we even got out of this cell.
I would also like to point out, Pomet speaks up again, that your jumpsuits don't seem to be able to adequately deal with our projectiles.
What type of projectiles are you using?
Oh, she doesn't know. It's a chemically propelled object. She knows that much.
Oh dear, they're still using slug bearers.
What's that?
If that is how you outfit your ships with weaponry, you are in for your people are in for an extremely unpleasant surprise.
At this point, Koshin speaks up and basically says, "Oh no! We were just testing our engines. The program, the space program is using energy weapons. We just don't have the capability of shrinking it down yet to be a handheld weapon."
Fair enough. Please tell me you're not still using what is it, lasers?
No.
Yeah, that's good. It's good for you. Also, you do realize that your warp signature will probably draw more attention, at least eventually. Your ministry can't keep this a secret forever.
They will try.
I'm sure they will.
Can we see outside the door, cell door or anything? See if there's anybody down, or can we hear if anybody's down the hall or anything like that?
There's a few small slats in the wall that look out, so guards can check in.
About how heavy does the door look?
Cargo bay doors are pretty heavy because they need to be able to stand up against vacuum in case of emergencies.
So taking the beds apart and prying it open, getting a bar in between the doors, is not going to work. You said this ship was made out of parts from their ship, right? The
What's
cell
that?
was made out of different parts of the ship.
That's standard colony procedure, partly. Yes. I mean, pretty much every species in the galaxy does that. I am repurpose the colony ship into the first structures.
Would I'm asking you, Lieutenant Shape, because I'm assuming they're a descendant of originally your species. With the technology back then, when they set out, what's your knowledge of this, of the way the cells work? Is there a way we can override something, or because they're using a cargo bay door, and don't they have an emergency latch on the other sides of these things?
Attention, but hardly you need to understand. Like, I don't have intimate knowledge of what these are. This is all. When the Faralarr was taken, it was my race's first attempt at warp travel and a colony ship. It's lost tech. We lost the technology of warp for hundreds of years because this ship was taken alongside others. We had to basically start from scratch again. So there might be peculiarities that I'm just not aware of. But it's a decent idea. There might be an emergency latch or something else in case you're sealed inside.
I'm actually going to see if I can find one. I'm going to see if there's an emergency latch that they may have missed over the years that's still inside in case something that might unseal the door on the other side that they may have missed, because this is outdated technology.
Give me an insight in engineering.
If only we had Jones here.
I know, right?
And the difficulty is 2.
Complication 2.
No. It's just a regular roll, but you need 2 successes to succeed.
Oh, okay. Well, this is going to be a shot in the dark.
You found absolutely nothing.
Yep.
As a matter of fact, I am going to say that took you 30 minutes of following various clues to try and find a release hatch or a release lever.
It was better than nothing.
Okay.
Though on a similar vein, if we search around, is there potentially anything we could use to our advantage?
As far as what, getting out, or
Maybe more likely just in case. Right now, I'm more than content to sit and wait. But if they come in like, all right, we're gonna kill you, Che, we might need something.
We could take a few of the beds apart and fashion makeshift weapons.
After, I'll say another couple of hours, as you've all kind of just relaxed for a little bit, just sitting down. I'm not saying like sleep or anything. The door opens. Nar, they want to see you.
It's time for the quote-unquote interrogations. Very well.
So they lead you back up into the upper chambers and lead you to a side room where there is a long table and Dathan.
What is this?
Hello, Doctor. I was sent down here to be your advocate.
I see.
At this point, the door closes, and so it's just you and Dathan in the room.
Pausing for a moment. It would be Dathan.
Technically, it can only be Dathan.
Because he has no idea. Oh, got it. You wily bastard.
Doctor, Commander Honorin is working on a way to rescue all of you.
I'd be careful what you say right now. We are most likely being monitored.
I'm sorry, Doctor, I misspoke. He's doing everything in his power to be able to save you and bring you home safely. Hence why I was told to come down. Since I am the only person on the ship that does not know where Kate is, and have only ever encountered Che, I was the only candidate.
Fair enough. So, what do we do now?
Their religion is strange.
I'm sure it is.
He walks over to where he was sitting and he pulls out this massive book. I was instructed to read this to familiarize myself with becoming your advocate.
A little light reading, I see.
It took me several hours. The religion here is almost as confusing as the Cryon religions.
Do tell.
It's one person. Well, I'm extrapolating data, of course. It just seems like a long series of events to keep the populace down while the ministry prospers.
Mm-hmm.
That's very confusing. It's very similar to the path of Brogyra. But the Cryon paths are one person that rose above a lot of people. That's why I don't follow any of them.
Mm-hmm.
Your charge, Heresy, is because you know the location of the Cation homeworld. So that anybody who knows where the Cation homeworld is, heretics.
So, like I said, a lot of the rest of the galaxy. Well, the quadrant, anyway.
Fortunately, their warp capability is so low, it might be an extreme amount of time before they ever met anybody else.
Perhaps, but their warp signature is going to draw in more interested parties.
Oh, eventually, yes. However, I might have a way to at least release you.
I'm listening.
It is a long shot, but there are actually rules here for first contact.
Why does this not apply to anyone else? I could possibly understand why it wouldn't apply to Che, but Commander Morale and Lieutenant Hartley are both.
Oh, this is very easy. You are not Starfleet.
Fair enough.
So, under their very own laws and guidelines, you are an ambassador.
Ambassador Nar.
Which grants you full protection.
Excellent.
However, I have not yet determined how I'm going to be able to defend Commander Morale, Lieutenant Che especially, and Lieutenant Hartley.
That is a problem, yes.
As
You've had a thorough look through their holy texts.
I've had a thorough look. I won't say that I have memorized all of it, but I've read through a good portion, 98%. Um, you spend about maybe 15 minutes with them, and then you are taken back to the cell. At which point, Frank, you are called. You're told to go with them.
Okay.
So
Good news for me. I may qualify as an ambassador.
She goes along taking notice of everything. Every little thing she can try, every little detail she can try to remember so she can formulate an escape plan if necessary. She has no intention of letting Che get killed. Or anybody else for that matter.
except for the NPCs, fuck them.
No, not even them. She can help it. Maybe an ensign, yeah, but
There are no ensigns in the away team.
Sure there is.
Are you talking about Ensign Dumpster Fire?
Exactly.
It was a joke.
um, when you get up there, you see Dathan.
I see. So you're the one that's been sent down to
Your
to
advocate.
play what?
Your advocate.
Play advocate. Lovely.
Yes, I'm still trying to find a defense for you, Lieutenant Che and Lieutenant Hartley. It's a challenge.
I bet it is. One of the things you might want to advocate or try to get done also is that you get our technology back from them first. They stole our property. This is first contact, and with them having it in their possession, who knows what they're doing. They could try to reverse engineer it.
I will be sure to request those items. However, I was trying to go with the approach that since each of you are from a different species, you would be ambassadors. By their doctrine. However, they currently view Onivrin, or Commander Onivrin, as the ambassador. In their eyes, you each willingly surrendered yourself by beaming back down to the planet.
I did not willingly surrender myself. I was asked. As a first contact initiative, we willingly comply. That's not willingly surrendering. And upon beaming down, we were met by armed guards.
Commander, you must remember, victory is written by the winner. In this situation, they've crafted this whole thing to look as if you willingly surrendered.
I am part Klingon. I know all about victory. And given half the chance, and Starfleet rules be damned, I would sit there and show them victory and who writes the stories. But that is not the situation. And I don't have that luxury.
Unfortunately, as this is a first contact situation, we must abide by their laws.
Laws made up by heretics.
He will endeavor to try and find some loophole to defend each of you. Che is going to be the most difficult.
Why do they consider me a heretic in the first place?
Because you know where Kate is.
I've seen it on a star chart, and that's about it.
You know where its
That
location
does
is
not.
in the galaxy. That's dangerous to them.
How is it dangerous to them if they don't even acknowledge his existence? Something can't be a danger to someone if they do not acknowledge his existence. It's only a danger if they acknowledge his existence. So by them saying it's dangerous to them, they acknowledge that Kaith exists, which they say it doesn't. Therefore, they're guilty of heresy. Are they not?
Commander, it has been my displeasure in my short time in the multiverse to inform you that most religious figures are hypocrites.
I quite agree with you on that one.
At least in his experience. The leaders of each of the Cryon paths, and yeah, that's his experience.
Klingon High Council is full of hypocrites.
Yes, power seems to draw them. But just know that Commander Honorin and the crew of the Tempest are doing their very best to endeavor to get you out of this situation as swiftly as possible.
I know.
That being said, could you please let Commander or Lieutenant Taylor and Lieutenant Che that I was only allowed to speak with two of you today. I will have to return tomorrow.
I'll pass on the message.
Thank you. At which point you are led back down to the jail cell.
Before they lead us down, I ask if there's any way I can read the book that he has.
That is not for the heretics to see.
Curses. Jay was going to ask that.
Well, do they have anything on the laws that so I can familiarize myself with the law?
They will see if the ministry will let you have that.
Hey, do you need me right now? Can I duck out for a few?
Yeah.
Alright, I'll be back.
Oh, crap, I didn't see your message.
It's okay.
So Moral comes back. Nar has informed you that she's possibly, oh, excuse me, she's possibly an ambassador.
That's good.
So what's the game plan?
Well, I let Shane Hartley know that Dathan is has been chosen as advocate, and he'll talk to them tomorrow, as they only allow him to talk to 2 people at a time.
That seems a very poor rule. And an intentional stalling tactic.
What if we showed them all where Kate was? Would they have to arrest themselves?
Unlikely.
No. She turns to Che and Cozen and looks at them both and goes, "This whole trial is a farce. It's being led by a group of ministers who are claiming we're heretics because Kaith is a threat to them. But the ministry says that Kaith doesn't exist. So how can it be a threat to somebody if it doesn't exist?"
Because their entire religion is based off the principle that the homeland is gone, lost, destroyed.
Exactly. So how can the home world, since it's been destroyed, supposedly, exist and be a threat if they keep saying it's destroyed?
Because that's
So
how
how
century. Because that's how you censor.
I know that. But see, they're saying it exists and it's a threat to them, but they say it doesn't exist. Therefore, aren't they guilty of heresy as well?
If you could bring that to the people, yes. Because it's only in the people without within the inner circle of control, the power structure. I imagine everyone knows, but it hardly matter. They're not about to run around declaring their own power structure heretics.
So, to break down this power structure BS, we'd have to show the populace that Kate is real.
Which would spark off rebellion and probably some form of a revolution. He turns towards. Damn it, I forgot her name.
Homet.
Omet. Thank you. Omet, is it safe to assume that the average citizen is perhaps. I'm looking for a word. Dissatisfied with the ministry?
There are
Or is the average citizen?
There are a lot of outlying enclaves that are very unsatisfied with the ministry.
See, so right as you stated, their hold on the populace is tenured. They have to maintain the lie in order to keep the grounds which they fight upon. If it's the grounds, spark a revolution, which, out of character, sparking a revolution in a work-capable society. Probably not good first contact protocol. Probably something to be avoided. Yes? No?
Yeah, it doesn't look very.
So-
It doesn't look very good when first contact leads to civil war.
Well, it doesn't really have to lead to like a war.
But
Now we're in a jail cell basically constructed out of a cargo bay. So suffice it to say that the ship that brought your people here has basically been cannibalized over the centuries and used to make structures and whatever else. So some of the ship's technology still exists, computers and such.
the only question.
There has to be a main computer that still holds the original records of everything.
At this point, Kosen says that even if there was a computer console that was still its original form, uh, the data would have been damaged by now. That was centuries ago.
Not necessarily. If the computer was shut down, it could still be intact, or enough of it's intact to where it could sit there and prove.
It is just unfortunate, though, because Nar is right. They cannot censor the entire galaxy. And if we could find this place, so can others. Others with far less noble intentions as the Federations, and far less willing to play by this ministry's rules.
I mean, if you really think about it, how has the ministry been able to keep a hold on your people for so long?
Pomet responds with indoctrination.
Yes, with doctrine. But you mean to tell me that over all these centuries, no one has questioned doctrine from the very beginning?
Oh, there have been heretics, and each of them were executed.
So fear then. The fear of being executed keeps them from questioning.
So then the computer database exists. It's within the ministry's chambers. It has to be.
That's true. If the data did exist, the ministry wouldn't want somebody stumbling upon it. I'm scrapping up the ship.
Okay, so I am going to say that uh, it's the next day. Che, you're called up to speak with Dathan.
Okay.
So, you see him. He greets you.
Good morning, Dathan. I'm sorry I couldn't get you your history book.
It's okay. I've had this doctrine to read through the last couple of days to try and make sense of. As your case will be the most difficult.
I can imagine. Seems that much of what is wrong here hinges on me.
Oh no. I think what is mostly wrong here hinges on the ministry itself.
I cannot disagree with you there.
Their history is fascinating. I've never read into Cation history. So at some point, if I'm understanding this, at least here, the Farazans left the Cation homeworld.
Yes, following the war.
And then the second exodus is the Faralarr leaving the Farazan fleet.
Yes, to my understanding. Due to a difference in opinion, um, one of spiritual versus... He's obviously trying to find polite words.
Bloodthirst?
No. Cryptocracy? So that's not right either. Either way, it's not conducive. Contextually, we're on the same page, yes.
Your defense is needed the most because your trial starts tomorrow.
So what is our...
I am still uncertain. The texts are confusing. The laws are completely based off of this book.
Theocratic law code.
And from what I have read of their trials, they are very similar to Cardassian trials.
Sonar would be of aid in this.
What's that?
Sonar would be a particular aid in this.
I wouldn't say that. Their system is guilty until proven innocent. However, their verdict comes before the trial starts.
So you are accused and then declared the verdict, and then you have to disprove that verdict.
Yes. It is difficult. I never thought when signing up for the Starfleet Officer Exchange that this would be one of the duties that I would be performing.
Starfleet calls of all of us in interesting ways. You never know what space has for you. So,
How
However, I'm not sure that they will play fair even by their own trial standards, Dathan.
One can only hope.
One can hope, but it's not a likely outcome. The Ministry has too much riding on this. If you manage to prove my innocence, their power structure falls apart. To keep their societal status quo, I have to lose. Were you aware of this?
Yes. That is why your defense is going to be the most difficult.
How can I help?
He doesn't know. Most of your case is being handled by another person up on the Tempest. And Dathan is collaborating with them in a way to come up with a defense.
Might I inquire as to who?
Oh, Lieutenant Lomax.
Then I probably have very little to worry.
I'm sure you don't. He seems like a very intelligent man. At that point, you are taken back down to the uh, the cell. There's only one guard with you.
Okay.
So as the door opens, he grabs you by the back of your collar and then pulls you back and then shoves you into the cell.
Okay. Che always lands on his feet, however off balance, straightens, dusts himself up, and looks directly at the end.
Look at the what?
And look at the guard. That was hard.
Oh, go ahead.
That was hardly needed.
Oh, it was
He gets
needed, heretic.
He gets a big old sassy grin on his face. Whatever you say, cousin.
So the door closes.
I imagine more slams.
Josh, go ahead and give me a presence and command roll.
Damn, this is like my worst combination, Jimmy. You know that, right?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, this is like my worst combination. Alright. Roll it.
Oh.
One success and a critical fail. Okay, I only have a 9 as a chance of success.
Hmm.
Do I antagonize the gentleman to fight?
No. I'm just trying to think of what to do for a complication. Okay, I know what it'll be. When you start walking towards Commander Morale or Taylor or Nar, whoever, you feel something at the base of your tail. It's caught in your uniform.
All right. I reach around and fiddle with it.
You're probably gonna have to take off your uniform to get to it.
Okay. I roll it down from top to bottom, exposing Shay's upper body to get around and get. And everyone gets a show about Chikabawa. It's the fan service scene of the series. We have to get those furry ratings.
Okay, so as you take off your tunic, there is a small wad of paper at the base of your tail that falls to the ground.
Pick it up and unroll it, or uncrumple it.
You can't decipher it.
Hmm. What language does it look like?
Oh, it's definitely ancient Cation. It's just it also looks like it's been written in a code.
Huh. Can I roll something with my focus in linguistics to maybe just get a hint or something?
Give me a uh, hmm,
Guessing reason and science or insight and science.
Give me reason and science.
One success.
No, you don't. You don't understand. I mean, you can kind of guess what some of the letters are just because they. With your brain you can trace back from your current language back and see the connection of how the letter evolved.
Right. I walk over to one of the Faralarr prisoners that we're with.
Which
Probably
one?
both of them, and I told
Oh,
that
both
to
of
them.
them.
Yeah, both of them. Can either of you read this?
Kosen shakes his head. He doesn't know what that is. I mean, he knows the letters, but it's just gibberish. And Pomet takes it from you.
Okay. I let her have it.
Well, it looks like your execution might be stayed off a little bit.
Why so?
Because the ministry is about to have a lot of problems with the outlying enclaves.
Oh.
But it also tells
Rebellion
us to
is
stay
coming
away
up.
from the door.
We should probably follow that.
After hearing this, I immediately make sure I'm not near the door.
Okay, so the almost immediately there's a small hole blown through the door. The hole is maybe about 3 feet high.
I walk over and check it out.
When you look out, you don't see anything.
I look back and I say, all clear.
Well, Captain, it looks like we're getting that revolution whether we like it or not.
I think Frank fell asleep.
I figured.
I don't want to have to continue this, but I kind of need Frank awake.
That's also fine. We can to be continued as we crawl out of the hole.
We can leave everybody on a nasty cliffhanger.
Yes.
I am going to say that you are the last. I'm going to continue this just to leave it at a cliffhanger. Actually, you know what? No. I'll just leave it at that you guys have escaped out, or you guys have crawled out of the hole. And we'll leave your escape and what happens after for next week.
Sounds good.
Sorry
Okay.
Sorry it wasn't a super long session, but yeah, Frank's asleep. I'm kind of wiped, so Uh,
That's understandable.
all right, guys. So go ahead and say good night.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night from Emily too, even though she had to run real quick.
Yeah, I know. Okay, playing the outro.